Eurosports Online, your host Nate Jennings is going to be delivering our first 2018 Triumph Street Triple RS, the pimp model of them all. So our lucky man, Aaron, get a handshake and a high five, baby. So, you excited about riding this stuff today? Excellent. We're going to start by going around the bottom of the motorcycle, and then the big TFT display that everybody's waiting to see all the instrumentation and what we can have with that. So we start out with our 120/70/17 Pirelli Super Corsa SP tires on here that have a superb level of grip, the highest level of tire in my personal opinion. We have our 33-pound front tire pressure with a 90-degree valve stem under here. Twin floating caliper, or floating rotors with Brembo M50s that are locked in for our big giant grippers with our steel braided brake lines leading up to our Brembo radial master cylinder that has a awesome quick adjustment capability to it. We have our Showa inverted forks that are going to be adjustable for preload, compression, and root down. So we have all the tuning we need when we take you to the track to experience VIR with us.
Oh yeah.
So then we're going to go back into the water-cooled power plant that is our amazing 765 from the 675. So my dyslexia works for me now, man. It actually kicked in. So we've got our water-cooled power plant. It's going to have an additional cooling fan on the back for you, Aaron. And you'll feel that kick on when you see temperatures around 220 degrees or so. Our amazing header pipes coming out that are concealed by our lower belly pan, factory installed by the Triumph manufacturers. I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the goodies down in there. You have our oil recirculation system and a spin-on filter on the very front of this motorcycle. As we come back, we can see the other servicing components. We have our oil film and we have our oil check down on the bottom, and obviously our oil drain at the very bottom of the oil pan on the bottom of the motorcycle. We have this new sexy design frame with new fairings, trim panels on the side of this bad boy. Our rear sets are going to be set up with a brake pedal on this side as standard with a brake master cylinder and brake overflow for fluid level and fluid clarity visible on the side, hidden by our heel guard here. We go back to our Orleans rear shocks. So we got the big upgrade to go to the big nasty. Our steel braided brake lines leading back to our Brembo rear brake caliper. The swing arm. I love the shape and design of the swing arms. First thing that really pops out at me besides obviously our TFT display. So just that beautiful shape of the swing arm where we have accessibility to put spools on it to protect our swing arm and utilize rear pickups. We have our axle adjuster blocks and adjusters here as a chain drive motorcycle. In the rear, we're running a Super Corsa SP to match the front. That also has a 90-degree valve stem on it, and in the back, factory recommended 42. So quiz you later, 33, 42 recommended factory tire pressure for this motorcycle. So our new design shape with our beautiful fluting in the back, factory C-cal LED brake light assembly, clear turn signals with amber balls for your viewing pleasure. I know that's coming off, right? So then we come around to the left side of the motorcycle where you can see our pillion pegs on this bad boy, which can be removed from the machine so that we have a clean, sharp look like I've done on my Street Triple R. We have our state inspection plate mounted on the back here for you in one of the holes for the bobbins, so we can relocate that when we put some spools on this bad boy for you. We are going to see a canister on the bottom. That's our muffler. Most of our exhaust system is now on the bottom, which now forced the relocation of the coolant to the left side up here for your overflow reservoir. We have a factory Triumph quick shifter which allows for clutchless upshifts on this bad boy, and that is on a 6-speed transmission. Our side stand has a side stand safety switch. We have our water cooling lines exposed on this side, but they are a little bit more compact, and our new shape stator cover on this bad boy. So, if we ever forget our tire pressures, we can look at the frame up here where our VIN number is located and see that 3342 rear tire pressure recommendation. So let's get to the fun part of this motorcycle. But with one other piece of technology before we get into the instrumentation, lock cylinder on the side to remove our rear C-cal or saddle. That'll pull up and we actually have some room in the back to store our goodies. Like I see you've already put your Frontline bamboo pin in the back. We've got registration and title, and we have a USB port. So we're never without power on our motorcycle. The rear C-cal slides back into place backwards like so. We take our ignition key, put it into the lock cylinder, and now you're going to turn your motorcycle key on for the first time, Aaron. twist. So you can see that display come up. We're gonna have our bar and mirrors from the factory with our ride-by-wire twist throttle, our hazard lights, our run cycle start button, our home button. We have our Brembo overflow master cylinder reservoir. We come across to our handlebars, to our ignition, which is on-off with a steering column lock and parking light. Then we have the left handlebar control. That's the clutch lever. Look at the ease and simplicity of adjusting our friction zone on our cable clutch. Real quick and easy. We have our high beam at the top. That's going to turn our high beams on and off for ourselves. Our mode selection button, turn signals, and our joystick right next to our horn. So, I know I said that funny, horn. So now we're going to get into the instrumentation itself. So we have a home button that'll take us into where we can manipulate our riding modes. Getting into that, we use our joystick and select that. We have the availability of manipulating our rider mode, our rain, road, sport, and track, and reset all the default. We can say, hey, let's select road. What do we have? We can manipulate our ABS, not on that particular mode, but we can manipulate the map, and we can manipulate our traction control desired setting. We're going to go back into our bike setup here. We have indicators, ABS, and traction control, and service warning. We can actually disable those here, enabled or disabled with traction control and ABS. We have our trip setup for trip 1 and trip 2 to auto reset those. Our display setup for the theme of our screen. Our contrast of the screen, our visible tray of what we want to see. Trip 1, Trip 2, fuel status, service interval, contrast, lap timer, coolant, all that happy jazz. Our language preferences, going into our units of measurement for our fuel economy and our miles per hour and whatnot. We have preference for time set up. We have our date set up. And we have our gear shift indicator. Running in, user defined, or disabled. And we'll go into this deeper as we have a complete just rundown of the TFT display that is an adjustable element here. So we have our lap timer. We won't get into that until we're getting ready to go onto the track or do this next display. And we can hit our home button back out of that bad boy. Now if we just go to the mode selection button here, we can tap the mode selection and slide through our different options. The first option we're going to have is our rider mode. Then we have our rain mode, road mode, sport mode, and on the RS we even get track mode. So we're going to hold that in and change it over to track mode for just display differences that we can see. And then we'll go to our rain mode and select our rain mode and see the differences in the instrumentation. Now if we utilize just the joystick at the bottom, you'll have indicators showing arrows left and right, which we can manipulate. Now we go to our temperature level, we go to our trip meter. Now when we got the trip, notice we have up and down arrows as well. We can pull the joystick up, trip 1 and trip 2. So we're going to slide next to our fuel economy, which is going to give us our average miles per gallon, our instantaneous miles per gallon, and our range all on one display, and there's a reset button on the far right hand side. So we have contrast. We can change that. You'll see a major difference for high contrast, going to a white instrumentation or back to auto contrast while we're inside to a dark display. Next is our lap timers like we discussed that we're not going to talk about right now. So we went over the most important features of your new 2018 Triumph Street Triple RS. Are there any questions that you have for me, as I know you've been lusting for this motorcycle and doing the research and watching the videos? And
not really. There's not a lot of research. That big lot. No, I mean, show me how to run on the track.
Let's do that. That's our next point. Do you mind if everybody gets to hear your new 765 get started off out front? Awesome. Let's get it outside and give it a run. All right, Aaron, out into the beautiful sunshine with that matte gray Street Triple RS. So right there's a good stopping point. Put our side stand down. Give her a little toot. So you've had a Street Triple before. Yeah. Now you're going up to the 765 to the 675. You know the sound. Yeah. They all sound the same still. Yep. Notorious. Your auto contrast change from the outside. That's awesome that you see that function for you. Want to see if that ride-by-wire sound works good for you? You got guys should check out this tachometer as we rip across the RPM range real quick.
I like the sound a bit better than the other exhaust, like the style.
Perfect. Awesome. And we appreciate your repeat business. Continue to work with Triumph and Frontline Eurosports. We'll see you at the track. Thanks for watching us at Frontline Eurosports Online.